Tremors 2. Aftershocks is a 1996 creature feature directed by S.S. Wilson. The giant killer worms are back and are wreaking havoc on a Mexican oil field. Needing someone with experience of the creatures, the government hires Earl Bassett to hunt them down. But this time the worms have an unexpected new trick up their sleeve. But before we get into this pre-Cambrian perfection, I just want to ask that if you end up enjoying this video, then please think about hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel. And if you do, make sure to hit the bell icon so you never miss any of my videos. It would really help me out. So thanks. Also, there will be full spoilers ahead, but if that doesn't bother you, then grab your dynamite-flavoured popcorn and stroke your favourite Earl Bassett hound as we dive into Tremors 2, Aftershocks. So the movie begins and we hear something which sounds like someone with very bad constipation. Turns out it's just your everyday pair of floating legs, which happen to belong to Carter from the Lost World Jurassic Park, who is crawling awkwardly over a pipe. Turns out he's playing a game of The Floor is Lava with a Wiggly, except losing this game leads to being eaten alive. But I guess The Floor is Digestion doesn't really have the same ring to it. He makes it to the barrels and can see his car in the distance and thinks, "Come on, Carter, this is where all those years of playing Frogger finally pay off." And off he goes! But sadly, he was never very good at Frogger, so he gets eaten. Poor bugger like. This year he's been eaten by a Wiggly, and next year he's gonna get stood on by a T-Rex. Oh, and folks say Sean Bean has it bad.
Hey, Carter! Where are ya?
Then we're back in Perfection, Nevada, where, oh no, not again! Oh, thank God for that, it's only our old mate Earl, who's wrestling with an emu. I think you'll find that's an ostrich. I think you'll find you're an ostrich.
Ah! What the devil?
Earl then sees a taxi approaching and outsteps this fella with a photo of him and Val from the first movie and says they have a problem that he's quite familiar with.
We have now determined that the men were killed by large underground animals.
Wigglies.
I told you that's what they named him.
So they want to pay Earl to hunt them down, but he doesn't want anything to do with it.
He wants to pay you $50,000 for each graboid.
Who are you? And why are you so dumb?
My name is Grady Vacuum Cleaner, and I'm dumb because I got kicked in the horse by a head when I was a kid. Anyway, Mr. Bassett, I'm a big fan. I loved the first Tremors movie.
You like that, huh?
So Earl invites him in and tells him that things haven't been going very well for him, mainly due to
Goddamn Big Bird and his scrawny girlfriend!
You fucking what, mate?
That's what she's doing there.
To remind you to wear clothes when you go for a picnic?
Yeah, she's there to remind me not to keep chasing after things I'm never gonna get.
What I'm never gonna get is why anyone would put their kitchen roll above a cactus. That's just an accident waiting to happen. Anyway, Grady convinces Earl to take the job as it could be his big second chance, while outside Senor Ortega is like, "This thing is fascinating. It's got green bits and it spins around. I may just have to steal this when he's not looking." So Earl comes outside and accepts his offer, and Grady says he's gonna go with him.
I don't even know you.
Yeah, you do. Fine, you can come, but I forbid you to wear that hat. And off they go to Mexico.
Mexico! Far to the south where the cactus grow.
What?
Tequila and a donkey show.
What?
Mexico! Mexico!
Am I missing something? On their way, Grady notices there's only one can of fizzy pop left, so Earl wants to play a game of rock, paper, scissors for it.
What's this?
Scissors cuts paper. I win.
But... maybe next time, fella. I thought I forbid you to wear that hat. Eventually, they arrive at the oil field where the Wigglies have been snacking on the workers, and they meet Pedro.
Ustedes no son los americanos cazadores de monstruos. Ah, por fin llegaron. Mira que somos también de la...
Ah, bloody love Pedro. He knows they don't speak Spanish, but does that stop him?
Ortega, ven acá, están aquí.
So, Senor Ortega shows them the equipment Earl ordered for their Wiggly hunt, and Grady is like, "Ah, sweet, cigars! That's dynamite, dumbass. But hell, if you want to light one up and stick it in your mouth, I'm not going to stop you." He then introduces the resident geologist.
Let me introduce you to Kate Riley.
She's currently wearing a neckerchief, but don't hold that against her. They also meet Julio, who is in charge of making sure the oil is oily. Later that evening, Earl and Kate are going over the maps of the area and admiring each other's arses, when Noise Brigade Grady barges in to ruin the mood, covered in chains and cans like a jangly bell end.
Just, drag it behind the truck. Make more noise.
Sorry about him, Kate. He sustained a head injury as a child which left him severely irritating. Not really, though. I like Grady, even though he is a bit of a doofus. Right then, I'll go and put these on the truck. And by the way, Earl, have you seen my hat? Nope. The next morning, and our heroes set out on their Wiggly hunt, and Grady is talking about his perfect cheeseburger. I'm talking 4 slices of cheese, half a pack of bacon, and 7 patties.
Just stacked.
Then he notices Earl has shaved off his stubble.
So what? Man can shave, can't he?
No, Earl, he can't. Grow it back immediately. Fine. But they aren't out for long before they get a reading on their seismojigger. They've got a Wiggly incoming, so they stop the truck and Earl says,
Okay, time for the secret weapon.
but what could it be? A Wiggly-seeking missile? A ground-penetrating laser? Nope.
Nobody wants to play with me.
Turns out it's just a remote control monster truck which has dynamite on it and is intended to be eaten by the Wiggly and then detonated, which is quite genius in its simplicity, really. So they drive it around until the Wiggly starts heading towards it. But then Grady says, Earl, I've suddenly become incredibly attached to the monster truck, please don't let the Wiggly eat it! Oh no! Then they hit the detonator and
50 G's, baby! 50 G's! Oh,
then we get a Wiggly killing montage. Woohoo, that was a gooey one. Later that evening, as the fellas are trying to get some sleep, Grady says, Hey Earl, is the moon really made out of cheese?
Yep.
Oh, good. If there's any mice living on the moon, I bet they'll be proper happy then, eh?
Yep.
The next morning and it's back to Wiggly whacking.
You took it. Hey, it's my turn.
oh come on, Earl. Let me get one more.
Is this rock, paper, scissors again, or are you threatening to punch me? And another Wiggly bites the dust. But as the fellas are discussing how they're going to spend their earnings, Grady's umbrella gets blown off the truck, and when he goes to get it, another Wiggly turns up and attacks, accidentally snagging the jangle chain as it goes back under, which means our heroes are going for a one-way ride to Wigglesville. It pulls the truck backwards and there's nothing they can do to stop it. Well, I mean, if Grady decided to shoot the bloody chain instead of the ground, that might work, but oh well. And oh no, it's dragging them towards a cliff! But it's just a Wiggly fake out as it stops, turns around, and off they go again. But this time it leads them towards a big rock.
He's going under it!
And crash! The chain breaks and Grady gets tossed like a salad. Then they see a metric crap ton of Wigglies heading their way and Earl says they're gonna need some help.
Help! Who'd be crazy enough to want to help us with this mess?
I believe it starts with B and ends in Ert. And I'm not talking about Benedict von Yogurt. That's right, Bert's back, baby! And Earl gives him a call asking if he's interested in some Wiggly hunting. Bert's like, sure thing, Chief. Just let me grab my... massive wasp just flew through the window! Back at the refinery, everyone is taking a well-deserved break when they see something huge heading towards them on the seismo. So Earl grabs his gun but then says,
Ain't no graboid. It's something more dangerous.
oh no! But we don't have the weapons to fight Godzilla! What will we do? Thankfully it's just Bert, who rocks up in a big truck full of explosives and guns. Naturally. Everyone's favourite gun nut gives Earl and Grady some powerful new boomsticks too.
Shotgun? We're not hunting rabbits down here, Bert.
Not shotguns.
They're super shotguns. Ah, sweet! Like in Doom.
But hold them good and tight to your shoulder, or they'll break your collarbone.
Told ya. But they're not as good as Bert's gun, which is an anti-tank rifle, because I mean, what else would it be? So off they go for another round of Wiggly whacking, and Bert's explosive lure is a Lal remote-controlled tank, because of course it is.
Subject has taken the bait. Preparing to fire. Memo. 4 pounds of C4 may be a little excessive.
Back to Earl and Grady, who found another Wiggly on the seismo, but weirdly this one's moving away from them. So they follow it, but Earl is cautious, as he knows they're smart and might be laying a trap for them. Then they go around this big rock and it's right in front of them! So they reverse quickly and end up getting their truck stuck.
Where is he? He should be all over us.
Then they hear it making a horrific wail. So they go and investigate, only to find the beastie lying above ground being all lethargic. Anyway, Earl radios Kate and asks her to send Pedro out with his truck to pick them up, but it's going to take hours for him to get there. So the fellas just chill on the car and wait while listening to Bert blow up some Wigglies in the distance.
Man never sleeps.
Well, apart from when he sleeps, obviously. But then they hear the Wiggly wailing again.
Something's wrong with our worm, Earl.
Well, what do you want me to do about it?
I'm not a giant worm doctor. My PhD was in being cool. So they go and check on the Wiggly and...
That's disgusting.
Something ate it.
In 2 minutes,
Then someone ate it fast then, what do you want?
something came out of it. It turned into something else, like a caterpillar does. Only I bet that whatever came out wasn't no sweet little butterfly.
But then they hear the sound of another Wiggly wailing.
You know what that is, don't you?
Yeah. Another one's doing it.
Then they spot Pedro's truck in the distance, but suddenly he stops.
Maybe he's taking a leak?
That's a long leak.
After a while they decide to walk over to Pedro, but when they get there his truck is torn to bits and there's no sign of Pedro himself. Wait, there he is! Oh no, it's just his severed hands. And Earl reacts as if he's just found out what dodgeball is.
It's a whole new ball game. A whole new goddamn ball game.
So they make their way to a nearby radio tower to call the refinery and warn them that the Wigglies have turned into something new. But when they get there, the damn radio tower is shredded too! But then they hear something clanging behind this building. Something which sounds really big and really pissed off. You there! Stop clanging and come out! And oh lord, what manner of gigantic monstrosity is this gonna be?
You serious?
Well, they might not be very threatening on their own, but when there's a bunch of them, they're very dangerous. Much like piranhas. Or chihuahuas. Thankfully, the little blighters are susceptible to a good blast from their super shotguns. But the question is, what are we going to call them? Well, they're a lot smaller than Wigglies, so... Smallies, maybe? Nah, that's bollocks. How about Clangies? Nah, that's shit too. Tell you what, they've got legs, so let's call them Leggies. Aye, that'll do. Meanwhile, Bert is on his way back to the refinery, but he's also wondering why we don't see Mike Myers in movies anymore.
Where the hell did he go?
Then suddenly he's attacked by a whole platoon of Leggies, which is the official collective term for them, like a murder of crows and a bastard of goats. Back at the refinery, Kate is wondering where everyone's got to, when she's treated to a Julio-flavoured jump scare. Oh, Julio, you 5'2" through the window bugger you. But then jump scare times 2, bitch! And we see one of the Leggies making short work of Julio's short legs. So he's a goner and Kate is traumatised. But then she hears Earl and Grady turn up and blast it. She's very glad to see them. Then they head back outside, only to find another Leggy tearing up the car. After dispatching it, Grady says,
They wrecked our car.
How can they be so smart?
must be in their genes, because I haven't seen a single one reading a book. Yet. Then they see Bert's truck come in, but it's a bit of a mess. And an exhausted Bert inside sounds like me when I foolishly put fizzy lemonade in a cocktail shaker.
I feel I was denied critical, need-to-know information.
Thankfully, it appears that Bert has killed all the Leggies bar one, which he has detained so they can study it. So they take it inside, but then we see there's another sneaky Leggy still alive under the truck, and it grabs one of Bert's MREs like, ooh, tasty. Although the tinfoil's gonna play war with me fillings. Back to the gang who are testing to see what the Leggy reacts to. I am a broom. My favourite food is butter, and I like to whack at a table because it's been bad. Bad table! But that doesn't work, so they try something else. I am a hand. I have multiple digits and I'm full of hemoglobin.
It doesn't hear us, it doesn't actually see us, it senses the heat of our bodies.
Which explains why they've been destroying cars and the radio tower too. Then Grady gives it something to eat from Bert's MREs, but shortly after eating it, the damn thing hocks up a baby Leggy. And Grady sums this up the same way most folks sum up Disney Star Wars.
Oh, we get it. We just don't want it.
So their ability to multiply quickly is somewhat problematic, especially as next door is now full of them! So everyone runs outside towards this other building, only to find that much like my love life, it's incomplete, and they're now effectively trapped. But Earl always has a plan, and this one involves shielding their body heat from view with a door. Hey Simon, why are those doors moving on their own? Oh yeah, must be them new automatic doors I've heard about. Luckily, the gang make it past the Leggies and now they can hop into Julio's car and book it like an... Oh, shit! There's one in the way. So Bert whips out his anti-tank rifle and boom! The little blighter gets absolutely annihilated.
Doing what I can with what I got.
But not only did he kill the Leggy, but also the wall, a barrel, a shed, and their getaway car.
I didn't know. How could I have known? I wanted maximum penetration.
That's what she said.
But oh no! The Leggies have spotted them! Earl, Grady and Kate manage to make it up one of the oil towers, but Bert can't make it so he hops into the shovel of this lal digger. And despite being in danger, still has the courtesy to compliment my drawing of a deer with one big eye.
Good. Good idea.
So while they wait and try and figure out what to do next, Earl and Kate have a get-to-know-you-better chat. And to his surprise, he finds out that she is none other than the naked lady on his wall picture at home. Which is absolutely brilliant, because she was there to remind him not to chase after something he's never gonna get. But now he knows her, and they like each other.
Yeah, seems a bit convenient for my liking.
Well, I think it's lovely. So shut up. Meanwhile, Bert is thinking, well, I may be trapped in this digger, but there's no reason I can't keep up with my personal hygiene, is there? But then he notices those damn leggies have started using their leggy legs to make a pyramid of leggies. So Bert comes up with a plan. He hops out of the digger and lures the little SOBs into the big building, goes out the back, locks the door, and before they can get out, closes the shutter and...
Problem solved.
But oh no, they're shrieking like they've just found something to eat. Turns out Bert's just locked them in the refinery's stockpile of snack food.
I didn't know! How could I have known?
So there's going to be dozens of leggies within no time. But Earl ain't giving up that easy. So he grabs a fire extinguisher and says,
You're gonna squirt me with this!
That's great.
they won't recognise you because it won't look like you. Yeah. So they turn Earl into Frosty the Cold Man, and he goes into the building to grab some bombs from Bert's truck. Excuse me, beasties. My name is Chili Charles, and I need to get something from my truck, so don't mind me. Earl makes it to the truck, but his disguise is wearing off. So the others break open a window and get a fire hose to use as a rope while Earl sets a bomb for 2 minutes 45 seconds and tosses it into the truck. He then uses a light above him to swing to freedom. Ish. He quickly grabs the hose and manages to get out.
Go! I set a bomb! What? That's the only thing I can think of!
So they get off the roof and Bert is like, what's going on? Where are the bombs? Yeah, about that, I realised too late that my pockets were really small, so I just threw one in your truck.
You what? That's 2.5 tons of high explosives, Earl!
So what you're saying is we should take cover behind this small shed?
No, no, no! Keep going! It's gonna be big! Big!
So they take cover in this ditch and boom! The refinery and all the leggies within it go kablamo. So the day is saved, our heroes each take home a large sum of money, Bert goes on to be in 5 more Tremors movies and a TV series, Grady is never heard from again, and Earl and Kate get together and live happily ever after. End of movie. And there we have it, folks. Tremors 2 is one of the very few sequels which I actually love more than the original. I just adore everything about this movie. The characters are great, the humour is excellent, especially from Bert, who has some of the best dialogue ever, and also the whole metamorphosis twist is amazing. As far as these movies go, for me at least, it doesn't get any better than this. So, Tremors 2, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you love it? Let me know in the comments below while I tell Ken a joke. Hey Ken, what do you call a deer with no eyes?
Go on.
No idea. Alright, what do you call a deer with no eyes and no legs?
Please do tell.
Still no idea. Okay, and what do you call a deer with no eyes and no legs and no head?
Oh, you've got me there.
Dead.